Today we're going to spend the next 100 days building the ultimate Minecraft keyboard. Moving into the design itself, I feel like Minecraft is made up of three main components. Mining, which I think will take some inspiration from a dirt block to represent that. Danger in the form of creepers who constantly blow my darn base up. And most importantly of all, diamonds. Because diamonds are just sweet and we all know it. So drawing out what we are looking to do, we'll customize the body of the keyboard to look like a dirt block. We'll have to figure out some kind of a grid pattern for the board, and we'll hand paint this in a little bit. It's kind of looking janky now on the tablet, but I think when we see it all in paint, it's going to turn out pretty awesome. We're also going to sketch out and paint a giant creeper's face on the bottom of the board to show that danger is always waiting around the next corner. And we'll be using diamond-colored keycaps to show that we only generate worlds with a ton of diamonds to be mined out. The first physical part of any build is to tear it all down. Step 1, pop off the keycaps and see what we've got going on under the hood, and just how easy this board will be to take apart. Spoilers, this keyboard was incredibly hard to take apart. Unscrewing the PCB and the plate was very easy, but Keychron did some kind of mechanical magic to make sure that the top did not want to detach. My hands were totally destroyed after doing this. But ladies and gentlemen, we got it. Also, after wrenching it apart, I found out that these switches are soldered down. So it looks like our old friend Mr. Desolderer will be getting some fun during this project. Since we'll be hand painting the case later, we have to do a few things up front to prepare the case for the acrylic paint. Plastic is notoriously hard to paint once it gets to your house because of the coatings that manufacturers use. This makes it very hard for your paint to stick if you don't help the paint out in a few ways. 1, we need to scuff up all exterior plastic and remove all that protective coat. You'll know it's working when you see how matte the plastic gets. It's kind of hard to see here because the plastic is a cream color to start off with, but you can kind of see it up close. This step is actually pretty easy and it only takes a single piece of steel wool to do. Once done, we'll be using a base white plastic primer over the whole of both the top and the bottom of the keyboard to give the acrylic hand paint we'll be using later a little extra help sticking. So we're going to do 2 coats of the primer and leave it to dry. We can't do anything internally until we get these MX Brown switches and these stabilizers off the board and plate, so let's get to that. While this used to be the scariest thing I could imagine for a keyboard, I'm actually getting into the groove of this, and I really like soldering my switches down as opposed to hot swappable. I feel like this gives me a much more consistent finished product in that I know for a fact that I won't bend or break the switch pins putting them back into the board because I'm physically melting metal myself. So a few minutes with Mr. Hako and the board is ready for the next steps. Now that we've separated all the parts, let's move over to the stabilizers. Of all of the parts of a keyboard build, easily the most important is making sure the stabilizers are well lubed and taken care of. Keycaps and switches are important, yes, but a bad stabilizer makes the whole keyboard just miserable to use. And you can easily tell these stabilizers are from a Keychron board because they came way over lubed from the factory. Like Keychron could cut their lube costs in half because they go way overboard when they do this at the factory. I spent more time taking lube off of these than I did actually tuning and lubing the stabilizers, but fix them we did. So let's pop them right back on the plate. Okay, now for the most important part of this build, the custom Minecraft paint job. What I've done to help is I've printed 3 examples of a Minecraft dirt block and we'll tape them next to each other so we can kind of get a big grid set out. We'll use a ruler and a pencil to carefully label a grid over top of the top plate and the bottom plate of the case. Now that we've got the grid lined up, we'll start marking off which blocks will be which color. I think we'll do this a single color at a time so we can make sure to have a consistent color of individual blocks as we move forward. And a few minutes into this plan, I realized that it's just not gonna work. I apparently don't know how to use acrylic paints, so we'll have to adjust our course mid-flight. What we will now do is we'll just use a spray paint color on both the top and the bottom. And I think this glossy green will do a really good job of looking like Minecraft grass. This matte brown should also do a really good job of looking like dirt. And I thought just about throwing it in the dirt in my backyard for effect, but I'm not that frustrated yet. I'm still planning on painting the creeper's face in the bottom, but that should be easier to do once everything is dry and coated in a nice matte clear coat. Like I said in the intro, Minecraft is one of the, if not the most popular games on the planet, and because of that, we need real tactile clicky switches, so we won't be lubing these holy pandas at all, because lubing switches is for linears and not for gamers. Pretty easy to slot these all back onto the plate and PCB, and now that we've got the entire internal system back together, we can solder everything back down. Now, soldering sounds like a scary step because holy crap, you've got metal here, but I find it to be a fun little step, and it's probably overall the fastest and easiest thing we've done so far throughout these 100 days. The spray paint on the bottom of the board is now all done for the bottom plate, so let's now get our creeper painted on. What we will do is we will tape off an open block so we don't get any green spray paint on the rest of the board as we get the face in here. We'll spray paint it, let it dry for a little bit, then we will take an angle and line everything out with a pencil so we make sure we paint in the right place. And I'm, again, still not very good with acrylic paint, so we're getting what we get, but I think it actually turned out to be pretty good, and it looks like a creeper. So one more coat of matte clear coat over top of that, and we are all done with painting. Whew, okay, and welcome to the studio where we are going to assemble everything. I think this turned out really well. I mean, yes, I was kind of nervous after the grid didn't end up working out, but once we moved over to the spray paint, I think this looks fantastic. It looks really good. The first thing we need to do here is we need to add a little bit of density to the board itself. Sometimes you can do this with like silicone pores, or you can do all sorts of things in here. I like adding a nice dense tape. It adds just a little bit of heft, but it really helps the sound. One of the things I noticed when I opened this up is how hollow the board sounds, and you get that a lot on these plastic cases. So I think if we just add a couple layers of gaffer's tape, that's what this is. It's like a super strong video maker's duct tape. We'll do this, and it should take all of that hollowness out. Okay, I think that is good enough for right now. So let's take the plate PCB combination and screw it back into the board, which I think these switches are gonna be perfect for what we want out of our Minecraft board. Okay, we got it all screwed back down. Looks pretty good, but danger is always around the corner. There's the creeper just waiting for us. Okay, let's put the top back on. Man, if that's not a Minecraft keyboard, I don't know what is. I think that looks so good. But we got one more step left to do. We got to make sure we got our diamonds, because diamonds is the most important part of Minecraft. Am I right? Hey, and we have now completed our Minecraft keyboard. Look at how cool this looks. I wish all of my worlds had this many diamonds in them, right? Man, this thing looks fantastic. I think this keyboard looks incredible. It looks exactly how I wanted it to turn out. And if you like this video and you want to see how we upgraded a $10 keyboard into a mind-boggling thing, you can find that by clicking right here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.